Passing parameters to methods can bring about some pretty interesting situations. And so in this video entitled Named Parameters, let's talk about how we can deal with one of the challenges that can happen when we're passing parameters to our methods. Now, parameters are usually passed to methods positionally, meaning they're handled or received by the method in the order that they're listed in the method signature. And if we don't pass them in the same order, then we can inadvertently switch them, and especially if they both have the two data types. And here's an example of what I'm talking about. I've got a method out there called addEmployee, and I pass it a string field or string argument and two integer arguments. Now here's the method signature, right? We've got addEmployee. It takes a string and it puts that argument in the variable in. Then it takes an integer for weight and an integer for age. Now notice what's happened in the way I've coded this up. I have transposed the age and the weight. And could this bring about some pretty interesting situations? Well, yes, because it's going to pass 51 into the weight parameter, the 51 arguments going into weight, and the 245 is going into age. Now, if I'm not verifying what's being passed in, and here's another lesson for you, you should verify what's being passed into your methods. If you're worried about this, because you could have a 245-year-old person who weighs 51 pounds working for you and trust you. I haven't weighed 51 pounds since who knows when. I probably weighed that when I came home from the hospital. Now, named parameters, you'll also hear these things called named arguments, will free you from the need to remember or to go out there and look up the order of parameters when calling a method. Now, when you're using methods from classes and in objects, you do get hints from the compiler through IntelliSense, but for the sake of argument here, and you will see these on the exam, just know what a named parameter is and how to use it. If you know the parameter names, you can send the arguments in any order. Notice if I call the method this way, notice instead of just passing the numbers or the integers, I'm prefixing them with the name of that particular parameter as it is designated in the method definition. Put a colon and then put the value in both cases. All right. Now, if my message signature still looks like this, notice it is now going to put those in the right place based on those names. Okay. And so I've now solved the problem here and everything's going to be okay. Now, mention this to different programmers and you'll get all kind of responses. A lot of people are saying, well, you're trying to make up for lazy coding. All kind of things come up here. IntelliSense will handle some of this. Just know what name parameters are for the exam and then do with them what you would like. Now, there's a couple of things you need to remember about name parameters and watch for this on the exam. And I would strongly encourage you, code some of these up and just play with them a little bit. A named argument or a named parameter can follow positional arguments. And so in this situation, Mark gets passed in positionally. It is that first string parameter, and then we can do age and weight. However, you cannot put a positional argument after a named argument. You cannot do it this way because it does not know where to put this guy, right? Doesn't know where to put the string. So just watch for that. And if you've got that down, you're okay. Play with name parameters. Watch for these. You will see them on the exam. They're listed in the objectives. They have historically shown up on the exam. So just keep that in mind. Hope you understand now and feel a little more comfortable with named parameters.